I'll take responsibility.
Well, it's great to be here. Wow. Last Sunday was such a big party, wasn't it? It was really nice. So I just want you all to know that Maureen and Robert are they made it happily to Hawaii with their puppy. I talked to Maureen, she was having lunch or brunch with her daughter, so they're having a good time. And it was funny because I dialed her without meaning to. It's like, oh, I missed you, my finger missed you. I just accidentally dialed her while she was right in the middle of eating. But anyway, it was kind of fun. But it was nice. And I thought of my title today, Life's Invitation. And I was thinking about it partly because we had a party last week. And so I actually was reading a book, and I think it was by ErnestHolmes, and it said something like, life is an invitation to love, something like that. And I thought, oh, this is great. I'm going to write a talk about this. And then I got so frustrated because I couldn't remember which book I was reading. And I thought for sure I'd put a Post-it on it, and I was looking through all it, because I'm always reading a few books. So I'm like, no, it's not that Post-it. No, it's not that Post-it. So anyway, I gave up finally. But let me ask you this. Have you ever been at a surprise party? You know, have you ever hosted one or been subjected to a surprise party? It's interesting because the person who the surprise party is for, they never get an invitation, right? Everybody else gets an invitation, but they don't, even though the party is all about them. And so this idea of life's invitation made me think about a surprise party, because did you know you were going to be born? Did you ask to be born? Did you make travel plans to join planet Earth? Did you pick out your family like you would pick out a hotel? You know, probably not, but maybe. Well, I mean, even if you did, you probably don't remember, right? Whatever it is that goes on before we show up here on Earth just seems to be forgotten or set aside as we enter into this life at birth. Very few people have memories of their life as an infant. I know there's always a few. I don't personally remember anything that happened before I was walking and talking. It's just a blank. But even though that may be true, we have all learned about the process of being born by watching other people, other little people's experience of babyhood. And you could even say that we have all been some part of welcoming them into life. Now, would it really be appropriate or nice to welcome a newborn home by hiding behind the couch and popping up and feeling surprised? It might really upset them. But still, don't you think it must be a bit of a surprise for them to find themselves outside in this chilly world, this life? Or maybe not. You know, I don't remember. Maybe infants are still so connected to spirit that they kind of understand in some mysterious way that this life is their perfect adventure. I don't know. But I think it's fair to say that while we can think of life as a surprise party, we can also recognize that we humans were well prepared for the party before we came. Babies don't come as blank slates, like pieces of clay to be molded. You know, I have noticed, and I'm sure you have, that these new little people come into life already equipped with certain particular temperaments, attributes, abilities, talents, and desires. Not just their physical attributes, but all kinds of attributes. So what is it that we come here equipped to do? Well, obviously, we come equipped to take care of our physical needs. We know how to eat and drink immediately, right? Or at least drink. So we come equipped to take care of our needs, our physical needs, and eventually we're equipped to help others do the same, especially infants and children who need time to grow up enough to be able to take care of themselves without help. So, looking at this, you could say that we come equipped to be in relationship with each other. It's actually essential because we're not born like little fish ready to swim off on our own on day one. For us, for humans, being in relationships is imperative. It's fundamental. And as infants, we have, I hope, our first experience of love in action. Now, I believe that for us, humans, life's invitation is an invitation to love. We depend on love. Our lives depend on it. All forms of love. So now you have to bear with me for a minute because you're here and I'm up here, right? You have to bear with me for a minute while I go off on a little bit of a tangent. Because I believe, and religious science teaches us, that consciousness, so this is consciousness with a capital C, is pre-existent, or maybe not pre-existent, but eternal, timeless, infinite in infinite dimensions. And you probably have heard the saying by the French philosopher Descartes, who said around 400 years ago, I think, therefore I am. But to go a little deeper in what he was saying, his actual argument was more like, since our senses can deceive us, how can we really know that anything exists? That everything isn't really just like a dream? Well, he said, it is because of that thought that I am able to doubt whether it's like a dream or something more. That thought, that fact that I am doubting means that I am thinking. And so that means that I am. Because we cannot doubt that we exist while we are doubting, because we are what? We're self-conscious with this, what he said was the fundamental foundation of philosophy in his mind. So Descartes claimed that the act of doubting or thinking was proof that there must be a thinking entity, the self, in order for there to be a thought. So I'm mentioning the statement that I am thinking, therefore I am, because it contains the word therefore. like it's instantaneous. It's not sequential. I don't first think and then become. It's just I am. I am. I exist. The fact that I'm thinking enables me to understand that I exist. Descartes' declaration triggered some philosophic arguments with other people about 400 years ago about what was thinking, and was it he himself, a particular person who was thinking, or was it just that something was thinking? Now for us, as religious scientists, we don't have any conflict between the idea that an individual is thinking and that a greater beingness is thinking, because we understand that each one of us is an individualization or an expression of what we might call the greater beingness. We could say that we each have a human consciousness, but there is this greater consciousness with a capital C. I generally call it spirit, but other people call it God, or even just life with a capital L. So what is it? When we talk about life's invitation, what are we talking about as life? What is life? What propels it? We experience it, but what propels it? It's spirit, it's mind, and it is love. In our Science of Mind textbook, ErnestHolmes wrote that love is the central flame of the universe, nay, the very fire itself. It is written that God is love and that we are its expressed likeness, the image of the eternal being. Love is self-givingness through creation, the impartation of the divine through the human. He wrote, love is an essence, an atmosphere which defies analysis, as does life itself. It is that which is, it cannot be explained. It's common to all people, to all animal life, and even evident in the response of plants to those who love them. Love reigns supreme over all. The essence of love, he continued, the essence of love, while elusive, pervades everything, fires the heart, stimulates the emotions, renews the soul, and proclaims the spirit. Only love knows love, and love knows only love. Words cannot express its depths or meaning. A universal sense alone bears witness to the divine fact: God is love, and love is God. So, I believe that we can truly say that life's invitation is an invitation given to us at birth to live in love, to become conscious of love, no matter what seems to be happening in our day-to-day world of events. There's an overarching harmony based in love, always available to us. It is as if love has life, simply waits for us to recognize it. And isn't that what you would wish for every infant coming into this world? That they live in love, that they are happy, well cared for, and loved. It's our nature to desire good for others, for children, for our friends. That's what we were born to do. It comes naturally to us. And yet, I bet you've noticed, I certainly have noticed, that things get complicated as we grow into adults. So much happens. There's so much to digest and work through. And for some people, there's so much hardship. For other people, there's so many distractions. For all of us, there's so many responsibilities. It's no wonder that we sometimes get overwhelmed by it all. Then what? Well, speaking for myself, instead of feeling love, maybe a different feeling wells up, like anger, despair, frustration, even hatred. Or, well, to be honest, sometimes just plain old crankiness, right? Nothing more. But it's not that loving. The Unity Minister, Eric Butterworth, gave some advice about how we might manage our emotions. And I really thought about, should I talk about this today or not? Because there's this I don't know, there's kind of an ongoing thing about what should we do now? You know, if we're unhappy with life, what should we do? Should we be passive? Should we be active? What should we do? So I do want to share what Eric Butterworth wrote. I think a lot of you have probably read his book, Spiritual Economics. He was a wise man. And he wrote an essay called Be a Center of Love. He said, when the world around you is in turmoil, you may be confused as to where you should stand. When social issues become polarized and politicized, people may demand to know, are you for us or against us? It's important to know for yourself that you need not be trapped in divisiveness. You can take a stand for unity. The one thing to be against is the tendency to react in anger and hostility, or to give vent to feelings of bias and prejudice. He said the important thing to be for is the way of love. Now, he suggested that we follow a kind of poetic formula that he said was from Edwin Markham. I think you might have heard it. It's really short. I just want to say I tried it. I'll be really interested to see if any of you can try it and let me know whether it works or not. So this is the poem. He said, he drew a circle that shut me out. Heretic, rebel, a thing to flout. But love and I had the wit to win. We drew a circle that took him in. Now, Butterworth explained that we should use this idea to overcome our sense of judgmentalism, that we could use it during meditation, that we could first allow whatever it was we were worried about or feeling judgmental about to dissolve. And then in our imagination or our mind's eye, actually imagine that we were drawing a larger circle encompassing ourselves, the person or the issue, whatever it was that was troubling us. Draw a circle around the whole scene, including other people, ourselves, and all sides, and bring them into the sanctuary of your consciousness. So remember, our consciousness is connected to infinite consciousness, right? So when we're able to draw a circle around the issues, the people, bringing them into the sanctuary of our consciousness, we are simultaneously bringing them into consciousness with a capital C. We are bringing them into our feeling of love. And Butterworth said, here, in this exercise, in this thought process, this is where you will easily overwhelm the situation with a love that will dissolve differences and open the way to understanding and communication. Butterworth advises us each to become a center of love, saying that as you do so, you will become a positive influence in your community, but more important, you will be centered in a circle of protection. Oh, I find this very interesting. As we enlarge our little circle of how much we're willing to spread this feeling of love, we're also centered in it. We also become protected by this truth. It is the truth that God and I are one, that each of us is one with Spirit. Knowing this is very protective. And he says, in this awareness, no harm can befall you, for anyone coming into your space is lifted into your aura of consciousness. You can become a center of love. He says, enough centers of love in the city, he lived in New York, and around the nation will help to evoke wise actions by our government and bring the unified support of the people. Enough centers of love around the world will bring bridges of communication and peace. Love is the answer. So I wanted to share that with you, and I really do encourage you to try it. And I would love to get feedback, because I tried it for a little while, and it's like, well, I need to work with that some more. Well, we get really knotted up in our opinions, don't we? To just like relax them maybe takes more than 2 seconds. But I wanted to share that, and truly, I think we're all blessed by the fact that so many students of New Thought decided to become teachers of New Thought, like Holmes and Butterworth. But like all the students here, it's through this experience of teaching, learning, experiencing, reporting, talking about it, that the foundations of this very metaphysical teaching become accessible to anyone interested. And one of the things that I really enjoy about this center is truly we have a lot of great students and teachers. Look around you, look at the person next to you. They're a reservoir of knowledge. It's not just me. One of my attributes is I'm willing to stand up and speak here. But there are many, many talents in this room. And together, we're able to help each other in this surprise party of life. We're able to help each other travel our own unique path to greater understanding, because what really matters is not what ErnestHolmes said or what Eric Butterworth said or thought. What really matters is what you think. You were dropped into this thing called life. Why do you think you were invited? What do you think about it now that you've been here a while? How are you doing? We're each on our own path of discovery and having our own adventures, big and small. You know, we tend to talk about the big adventures, right? But I want to share a little adventure. On Easter, I had the fun of feeding my 1.5-year-old granddaughter vanilla ice cream. It was so much fun to watch her reaction and to see her go through that innate process that we all go through all the time. Step by step. Investigation, discovery, reaction, and decision. So, yeah, she was curious. Oh, okay. I will open my mouth and try that white stuff on the spoon, right? Then spontaneous reaction like, oh, it's so cold. She made the funniest little scrunched up face, freezing. And then you can watch her thinking about it and deciding she would like more. It's just what we do. We explore. We figure it out, we make choices, you know. All of us are totally natural and dedicated explorers of this thing called life. We're all discovering and experiencing and making choices all the time. You know, in one of his, I would say, less well-known books, Think Your Troubles Away, ErnestHolmes wrote that back of every person's life, there's a natural desire to express, to accomplish constructively. We feel this impulse, every child feels it. We, he said, we're all just children of larger growth, a greater experience, and sometimes a deeper perception. When we find that we have this perfectly normal desire to express, we must decide what we're going to express. The intellect must consciously determine to what the emotions are going to respond. There must be a conscious direction of that inner creative urge, that natural instinct to express. We can consciously direct it into channels, pathways, which are happy, which are constructive, and which, he said, are in all ways profitable. I don't think he just meant like money profit. I think he meant, beneficial. So, it is actually because of love that we teach children not to put their fingers in a socket, right? It is because of our love for them that we teach children not to run in the street. And it's because of love that we give children so many chances over and over again to learn, knowing that eventually they'll learn to make better decisions. It's so obvious that we should allow this freedom to children to learn, to grow, to change, to discover, while keeping them safe. Isn't it equally obvious that we should also be kind and helpful to ourselves as well as to each other? Each of us is on a path of learning, as Holmes said, learning to direct our own inner creative urge into ways that are happy, constructive, and beneficial. So, here we are. We've all been invited into this thing called life. We've all been invited to come here and enjoy and follow our own beautiful, unique, and amazing path. And so, in closing, since I talked about stuff from 400 years ago, 80 years ago, 40 years ago, I just wanted to talk about something from share something from the May Science of Mind magazine. It was this. Welcome to May in all its splendor. During this month, ask yourself what you need going forward. What brings you happiness? What helps you move ahead? What does your heart most desire? And then take some time to slow down, breathe, and just be here now on this incredible journey that is your life. And so it is. Thank you.
And so